Mayoral employee recognition event. I will tell you up front that the mayor apologizes. He wanted to be here, but he's actually out of town. He's in Washington, D.C., so he's not going to be participating in today's event. Mr. Olson, our city administrator, he's going to stand in today for the mayor and for today's ceremony. The first thing that we'll probably take care of, just out of curiosity, was I mentioned last month that there may be some type of incentive to come this month. And by incentive, I mentioned this thing right here.
Chick-fil-A?
What? Get out of here, Chick-fil-A. And so the chairs have moved a little bit, but it's second row. It's either going to be the captain or it's going to be Tracy. And so if you reach up underneath your chair, be careful, it's a toothpick.
Not you.
A yellow toothpick?
Wait, I'm back here.
All right, so if you fill up underneath your chair, there's a chair that has a yellow toothpick kind of stuck in it, and so that's going to be the... Hey.
We have a winner.
Now that I've impaled him, come to the clinic after you're done, and we'll put a Band-Aid on that. All right, so we'll try and continue. I'll try and come up with creative ways that we can continue to do that for all of you that come, and you continuously come and support our employees for this event. And so I think it's important, and I do appreciate your coming. And so I'll try and keep that going. So today we're celebrating the September 2017 mayoral employee recognition event. We've got several people that we're going to recognize today. As we do every month, we're going to recognize our Employee of the Month as nominated by you, your peers. We're going to invite the police chief to come up because there are some additional things that are going to go with the Employee of the Month, and then he has some other individuals to recognize that are associated with how that person or why that person was awarded the Employee of the Month award. And then we also have several individuals that have celebrated a milestone anniversary as a member of the City of Pensacola team, and so we're going to recognize those as well. We're going to start off with the Employee of the Month, and I mention this every month that it's an all-star, it's that rock star. The Employee of the Month is that person. And so I heard this language at a conference that I went to recently that it said, it was talking about engaged employees versus disengaged employees. And so when it talked about engaged employees, it said engaged employees are somebody that comes to work for what they can give, not for what they get. And so the Employee of the Month, I think, falls in line with that. They get up and they come to work not for what they can get out of their job, but what they can give to their job, what they can give to our citizens. And so this month, as you'll see, falls in suit with the other nominations that we've received for this great award. A little bit more about the recipient. The September 2017 Employee of the Month recipient began his employment with the City of Pensacola on September 13th, 2010 as a police officer, and this is where he continues to serve today as a member of the Pensacola Police Department. Here's what was written in the nomination for the employee. On July 13th, 2017, Officer Morales and Officer Bloodworth were dispatched to a fishing pier at the 17th Avenue and Bayfront Parkway. The complaint was a female who was intoxicated and causing a disturbance. While Officer Morales and Bloodworth were en route, dispatch advised that the woman had jumped from the bridge into the bay. Officer Bloodworth observed the woman was about 75 to 100 yards offshore and trying to move herself further away. He contacted dispatch and had them contact the Pensacola Fire Department and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission to see if either of those agencies had a boat which could quickly respond. While dispatch was attempting to locate a boat, Officer Bloodworth was monitoring the female and noticed that she was becoming fatigued and struggling to keep her head above water. Officer Bloodworth quickly made his decision to go into the water after the female. Officer Morales kept a steady dialogue with the female, which kept her from moving further away. Officer Bloodworth then commandeered a pair of Crocs from an onlooker so he could traverse the barnacle-covered rocks and enter the waterway. Once in the water, he removed the Crocs and threw them to Officer Kane so that he too could assist. Officer Bloodworth quickly covered the distance between the shore and the female and grabbed her. The female initially tried to resist assistance, but she was quickly overpowered. Officer Bloodworth was able to safely pull the female to shore, where Officer Kane and Officer Lawrence were standing by to assist. The female was transported to Baptist Hospital emergency room, for a Baker Act, but Officer Bloodworth remained calm and focused and took control of the scene. Once it was determined that other agencies with the proper equipment for this type of rescue will take too long to arrive, he knew the only way to save the female was to risk his own and swim out to retrieve her. His actions reflected a great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Pensacola Police Department. So for these reasons, we're going to recognize Officer Justin Bloodworth as Employee of the Month. And so as he comes up, I'm going to also ask the chief to come up because he has some additional information to share about that and those that participated.
Congratulations. How'd you know the Crocs were going to fit?
Well, they just got tossed to me. I wasn't.
We'll get a picture.
Yeah. One more.
We have a internal policy for awards as well, and so this was written up and submitted to our internal awards committee. I cannot stress how dangerous this was. Think 100 yards offshore, there's a current that rips through there that's pretty significant. To jump in the water, to swim out 100 yards, to get into a fist fight with somebody who doesn't want to be rescued, and then drag that person back, it was a great risk to his own life, when the reality of it is, had he decided not to jump in, I don't think anybody would have found fault with that decision either. For that reason, our award committee at the Pensacola Police Department is awarding him with the Bronze Cross for Valor and the Life Saving Award as well. Both of these.
You can have your hands full.
I'm not sure how you want to do the medals, and we can do the ruler. You can hold that up for him.
You're going to need more hands.
He's going to need a bigger wall.
You want to say anything?
No, I don't like
You know, leave this here and take it back. You can do it.
Thank you.
We are pretty protective of those medals. We generally give one or two every year or so. There aren't very many of them floating around. Officer Kane, he's recognized Meritorious Service Award for his assistance in the rescue. Initially, what wasn't said is he jumped in the water as well, realized we don't need two police officers out there, thought the better of it, and then assisted from the shore with getting her out. So for that, he's awarded the Meritorious Service Award. Just to make
One more.
You get a chance to give a speech too. If you want.
I'm not a man of words.
I can already see in the next negotiations with the police department, they're going to want Crocs issued as part of their. All right, well, congratulations to you both. That was unbelievable in the actions, and hopefully the citizen that was saved will come to realize the valor and appreciate the action that you took to give her another chance, another opportunity. We had several other employees. We had two other employees actually that were nominated this month for Employee of the Month, and so just as I do every month, we're going to at least recognize them verbally. The first was Howard Ricky Lewis of Sanitation and Fleet Services, Code Enforcement, and the second was James Parsons with Pensacola Police Department. So let's have a round of applause for them. All right. Next, we're going to move into the portion of the ceremony where we recognize those that have celebrated an anniversary or a milestone as serving as a member of the city team. We're going to start off with those that had their one-year anniversary this month as part of the city team. And so when we call your name, please come forward and we'll give you your one-year certificate. First is Michelle Madrill with Financial Services Department. And next we have Susan Moore with Pensacola Energy.
Okay.
All right. We're going to fast forward in time now and go to 10 years anniversary. So we have 2 employees that are celebrating their 10-year anniversary this month as a member of our team. First of those is Jed Martin with Pensacola Fire Department.
So how many more are you going to give us? Oh, there you go. Get rid of me.
One more.
Appreciate it.
And next we have Thomas Jones with Pensacola Fire Department.
Come in at the same time?
Same day.
Still working out, huh?
One more. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Okay. Our next anniversary that we're going to recognize is 15 years of service. We have 1 employee that we're recognizing today, and it's Miss Yolanda Reed Fisher of Parks and Recreation Department.
Yayo. One more. Thank you.
You know, the rest of the department's not here today because they're all in New Orleans, but they would be here. I know they'd be here for you.
Fantastic. All right, so we had several other employees that were invited to attend. We were able to get responses from everyone this month, so if you work in a department, do appreciate your at least having those people come back and give us feedback whether or not they could come. We'll go through the list, and then we'll just have a round of applause for these anniversaries for these employees. We have Jonathan Daniel, 1-year anniversary with the Pensacola Police Department. Joseph Teixeira, did I say that right, Chief? 1-year anniversary with Pensacola Police Department. Jenny Lee, 1-year anniversary, Pensacola Police Department. Carissa Morales, 1-year Pensacola Police Department. Amanda Davis, 1-year Pensacola Police Department. Lots of hiring this month here. Jesse Hurst III, 1-year anniversary, Pensacola Police Department. Brian Cooper, 5-year anniversary with Parks and Recreation. Of course, he's in New Orleans celebrating. He's at a conference. And then Mike Watkins of the Pensacola Police Department has his 15-year anniversary this month. In addition to those individuals, we have 4 employees that have retired this month, their employment, and they're moving on to the next chapter of their lives, and that's Rodney Egerton with 33 years of service with the police department. Howard Maxey retired with 16 years of service. David Livingston, 23 years of service with the city, and Carter Hall with 33 years of service. So let's have a round of applause for all those individuals. And so the last thing that I'll mention is, I thank you all for coming and attending. It is important that you be here. I thank you all that are taking your time to make those nominations, because without your nominations, we don't have an Employee of the Month. And so please continue to keep those coming in. And I do appreciate your time and effort in doing that, and your support in coming and supporting those that do get the award. And so with that, I'll turn it over with Mr. Olson for closing comments.
All right, thanks. The room's full, and that's always a good sign. I appreciate everybody coming out. I know that if the mayor was here, he'd be saying the same thing. And the thing that I want to tell everybody today is, starting October 1st, there is some good news if you haven't heard it yet, but we have, in this next upcoming fiscal year, aligned our vacation program, our days off, holiday days, with the county. So there are 3 new holiday days, and they are the day after Christmas, I believe, President's Day, and Good Friday. So, and the personal days remain. So everybody, just make sure that word gets around. If you have any questions, contact HR, contact finance. Don't contact me. I've had hard enough time to remember what the days were. But anyway, I think it's just another thing. We're trying to do our best to make sure that we recognize you, all of us in the city, for the hard work that everybody puts in every day. It's not always appreciated, but believe you me, I appreciate it, the mayor appreciates it, and, you know, being able to align our holidays, I think, is one thing that is helpful, especially people with kids trying to make the school back and forth work out. And we're just going to keep moving onward and upward. So again, appreciate it. Thank you.
Again, thank you for coming out, and if you were recognized today, if you'll come up front, we'll take a group photo before you leave, please.